Greetings, fellow Noodle Burger boys. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And Jacob Wile, too.
And together we are...
The Big Podcast 3.
Thank you, Jacob, because I would have hyped it up way more than you did, so you saved us all the embarrassment.
Sorry.
No, I'm thanking you. I'm just like, because you know how I like to be like, yeah, big Podcast 3. I'm so clever. I'm just going to pat myself on the back 100 times, even though neither of you guys actually like it.
I liked it. I was just waiting for you to say it. That's why I was just like, it's like, okay, when's he going to say it so I can say it?
It's called timing, Jacob. I'm sorry. Anyways. Okay, guys, so I'm going to, I don't know, this series, let's kind of recap the last couple episodes of just this podcast, because it's been kind of a wild ride. It's like we've had a storyline developing just on the podcast, let alone the episodes themselves. So episode
we're
9,
11 in so far.
What?
We were 11 in so far in terms of episodes. Is that right?
We're 11 in so far, but this saga really started at episode 9. Episode 9, I loved the Jax episode. I fell in love with the Jax episode. It's still one of my favorites. And Dragon, you liked it, but you were a little impartial on it. And Jacob, you liked it a bit more, but you didn't love it the way I did.
It was fine. I guess the end ends abruptly. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like, we don't. I mean, that's really the only major problem we had with it.
And then, oddly enough, last week's episode 10, I really didn't like it at all. I thought it was very, I didn't really think it was that memorable. I thought it kind of dragged, and you guys loved it.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I was just kind of in between you and Dragon on that one.
So, folks, that's where the saga is. Like, Dragon and I are either hot and cold on the episodes, and Jacob, he's like our nice, easy middleman. So, building that up, I'm going to say right now, in my opinion, this is the best episode of the series thus far. What do you guys think? That, I'm just kind of, I'm going to throw that out there. I think this eclipses the first Ant Cass episode.
Whew. Oh, boy. Those are some mighty words. Okay, here's what I'm going to say. It took me 2 viewings to get here, but I tell you, definitely on the second viewing, I think I can say that I think I'd put it second to Food Fight. I'd say right after Food Fight, I'd say this is the best. At least this is probably my favorite episode we've gotten, not counting Food Fight.
The reason I put this above Food Fight is that this is truly an ensemble episode. Like, everyone has something to do. Everyone has action set pieces. I think the villain is great. The villain is incredibly memorable. And, of course, we get some screen time for Wasabi that we've been dying for the whole season. We get probably one of the funniest Baymax running gags in the sticker gag. I mean, this episode was just firing on all cylinders for me, for everyone involved.
See, essentially what happened was I watched it the first time and I thought, okay, well, that was solid. I can keep kind of cranking. Basically, I was thinking like an assembly line. I think keep cracking these. I think they'll be in good shape. And then I rewatched it. I was like, oh my, yeah, I really liked it. I got an even bigger kick out of it the second time. I was like, you know what? It's really that good. I think they finally hit a groove with it. I think this episode's a good omen. It's like, yeah, they can keep. Again, this is like, it's not as, basically, it doesn't have Ant Cass in it, but if it had Ant Cass in it, would be probably, that's the thing. Honestly, if Ant Cass was in this episode, it might beat Food Fight.
Oh, man.
Again, I'm still saying I think Food Fight has a lot of great stuff, too. I'm not just saying Ant Cass is like the only factor of Food Fight. I'm just saying there are other elements in that work. I'm just saying this, it's in the same, it's very top tier for Big Hero 6. We've been looking for top tier.
All right, Jacob.
I would definitely have to agree. In retrospect, this probably is the best episode we've gotten so far. It had everything you could ask for. It's pretty much delivering all the promises we've gotten on this series and its creators so far. Great action, great comedy, a memorable villain that is actually sets the seeds for further cliffhangers down the line.
And a villain who's equal parts scary and funny.
Exactly.
All right. So yeah, breaking it down. Honestly, guys, I hate to say it. I think it's not the weakest part of the episode, but of course we've been noticing this, I think, pretty consistently throughout the 11 episodes so far. An interesting trend to note is the series kind of takes these tried and true tropes and sort of plays with them and works with them. And of course, this tried and true trope is like, it's the odd couple. It's like, oh no, they don't want to work together, but they're forced to work together for a school project. Shenanigans. One's neat, the other's messy. And honestly, I gotta say, like I said, it's not really that I didn't like all the Wasabi and Hero stuff, mostly because I really do like Wasabi a lot. And so I think this episode really, Wasabi might have been a whiner in certain elements of the episode. Like, I think they maybe kind of characterized him a little bit too heavily, but he redeemed himself by the end. And I think by the end of the episode, it was a really good arc for him in Hero. And like I said, it's just nice to finally see Wasabi at the center of an episode for a change. But I don't know. I still think it's I don't really think they did as much with the kind of changing up the trope as they usually do. Instead, it's just kind of like, yeah, it's the trope, it's there, and it's done well.
So I mean, they don't necessarily have to like work the trope in a way. They tried to work a good story out of it.
Well, I know, Jacob. I know. I'm just kind of making an observation there.
Yeah, here's the thing. I felt, and this isn't a complaint, because on the rewatch it really kind of dawned on me. Because initially, this is why I was kind of like, okay, it's kind of a good kind of like thing, consistent. It was a solid episode, and the rewatch, it was really really hit me because it didn't do anything wrong. I noticed that honestly, it's the thing with the episode's title, Killer App, where Hero and Wasabi, they took a back seat when I thought this episode was going to be kind of them in the forefront and tied into the Killer App thing, and it just kind of felt like, and not in the bad way, it just kind of felt like those two separate plot angles that did intertwine. Don't get me wrong; it just felt like basically they took a back seat, and not in a way that killed the episode, but I'm saying it was in a noticeable way that they took a back seat. You know what I mean? That make any sense?
Yeah. I don't know, Dragon.
Again, it's not a problem. It's an observation. I'm just saying that.
I mean, like, what you're saying makes sense. I get what you're saying. My thing, though, is I feel like the episode was a really good balance. I don't necessarily think anyone really took a backseat. If anything, I think I think Honey Lemon is this episode's obligatory. Like, all right, if someone's got to have the least amount of screen time this episode,
no.
Honey Lemon.
Let me clarify. When I say backseat, I don't mean that everyone gets a proper amount of screen time. I just mean that I guess less that story taking a backseat, more so like Killer App. It's not really an app. It's like the
title really doesn't make much sense.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the title doesn't really make sense for either story in a way, and that's kind of that's like the only gripe I have. And again, you're absolutely right. Everyone does have like an equal balance of story. And that's great how we showcase everyone. Go has a nice role, and usually Go and Wasabi are the ones who kind of get put in the corner in episodes. But no, everyone was absolutely.
Like I said, if anything, Honey Lemon's the only one who's kind of cornered.
No, but she was good though. She says, "Oh, good, Freddie. I'm so glad you're." She's all pleasant stuff.
We have to talk about Fred and the frickin' noodle burger, like the VIP at the.
Let's just build. Let's talk about the noodle burger on the whole thing.
Okay.
So one. Let's see. So,
WP.
I'm sorry. Right before we get into noodle burger, I just want to mention one thing real briefly. I love the opening of the episode. Again, it was like starting the episode on a really good note for me, where it's the Big Hero 6 saving people from micro drones. Like, yeah, they're saving people. And why can't it's that thing that was teased at the end credits of Big Hero 6 and maybe want a series or want a continuation of it. And like now we're getting that sort of stuff starting almost every episode. Like it hit me in the wheelhouse. So okay, episode starting off on a great note. Then we go to Noodle Burger, and oh my god, Noodle Burger and the Noodle Burger boy. So I enjoy fun restaurant stuff. I remember the Toy Story short Small Fry. That's a big example.
Dragon, do you know that there's a little miniature Zurg in Pixar Pier? Have we talked about this before?
I believe so.
Okay. Sorry. I don't mean to get off track.
Yeah, but they have like a little poultry palace truck, like a food truck or like a little like stand for Poultry Palace at the Pixar
yeah,
too,
exactly.
Anyway, so again, I love, and of course, I don't know what it is, folks. Just when Big Hero 6 does food, they can do it so well because with Aunt Cass, being being a chef, she just we had all again. It might I don't know if there's like that subconscious reason because of our love of food animation. Maybe that's why it's our favorite. I don't know because again, this is like another episode with food as like a major focus and like a restauranting and food. It's like good design work and everything. I love like kind of the pseudoscience of the place, the whole thing because it is. There's this great theme of over modernization or I guess over futurism, and the danger. And again, thematically, this has worked really well into the episode where if we invest too much in the future and basically we're basically running before we can walk, we can open ourselves up to these big blind spots with this prediction algorithm. And again, that's the app they're referring to, but it's not really an app. It's I mean, I guess it's like a major application, but it's not really like an app when you think app.
Okay, can I just go for a really quick deep cut Disney video game reference with Killer App here?
Is it a Switch game?
No, it's not a Switch game. No,
Tron
Killer App.
Then you have permission.
Tron Killer App. Jacob, do you remember Tron Killer App?
No, not actually. No, I really don't.
Oh man, it was badass. It was like this. It was one of my favorite first-person shooters. It was on the PC. People in the comments, do you remember Tron Killer App? I want to know. Anyway,
let me direct that. Nate Productions. Do you know anything about this Killer App they're speaking of? Go on.
All right. Anyways, so let me see.
Back to did you have anything else with the deep cut app thing, or should we?
No. I just wanted to. It was just on the tip of my tongue the whole time when you were talking about the title. I was like, hey, I want to talk about Tron.
But I mean, yeah, I love this restaurant. I love the design of this place. I mean, I love it's kind of a fusion of what San Francisco is all about. It's Tokyo and San Francisco, and kind of that neat meta idea that when the 1906 earthquake happened, basically, what if Tokyo had kind of helped rebuild San Francisco, hence all the kind of the fusion what if design work, and we get something like this where it's basically they somehow bake the noodles into a bun for the burgers, and that's their gimmick, and we have like a Bob's Big Boy robotic mascot. That one is hilarious in itself and great in itself, and it gets even better when it gets turned into a bad guy.
WTMP.
Way too many pickles. Oh my god. Speaking of great food animation, like that is definitely exactly what it says. It is way too many pickles.
It's like, do you want a hamburger with your pickles?
God. All right. Yes, we just also I'm sorry, we're kind of skipping over this. Fred has VIP access to the ball pit.
So Baymax is our MVP through Big Hero 6.
Oh, holy crap! Yes, I was dying. There's
this great gag with Baymax. Where again, this is so nice too. I love how polite, how nice it is, and the timing on the time. Baymax has flawless timing. It's Scott Adsit. He's fantastic. Fred basically is like, hey guys, basically he's paid his way to like a VIP. Basically, he's like, I would imagine he's maybe part owner of the place, hence the special treatment. They might be like a VIP exclusive club thing. I don't know. The point is, he gives them like these exclusive access to like a little section of ball pit. With like this little VIP, like the velvet rope things is VIP, and like there's a ball attendant and everything, and Baymax makes his way. And this bit kills me. I have this nice little like kind of ball pit attendee lady, and he walks over and just hands her like a little card thing. Says like one please. And he goes inside the ball. I mean, you gotta remember, it's a communal ball pit, so regardless, it's just like a little section you get, and then all these kids are coming down the slide. It's like a playroom, like from a McDonald's or something, but it's in the place. Oh. And these kids, they bump in, they're all going on a slide. Baymax is kind of clogging the hole, and he just turns to him and says, "Are you having fun?" It's just great.
I love Baymax.
Oh, he's perfect. Oh, good.
Okay. So, Noodle Burger Boy, he sings a song right at the beginning, and I'm sure it's not Weird Al, but it sure sounds like Weird Al. Jacob, what do you think?
I mean, that song kind of sounds like something Weird Al would sing.
That's what I'm saying. And the voice is kind of nasally like Weird Al.
I know it isn't him, but
I know too. I'm not saying like, oh, hey guys, it's definitely Weird Al.
I didn't get that vibe, but on a rewatch, I might be on the lookout for that. I didn't really, honestly, I gotta tell you, just the guy sound, the character sounds so kind of sing-songy with everything. I didn't pick up on the singing, if I'm being frank. I saw like there was kind of like it sounded like everything he said would have been kind of framed with music, so I didn't know if it was quite a song, but I mean, I guess it's kind of Weird Al style at times too.
It's more like he spoke in jingles.
That's the thing. It sounds very exactly. It's jingly. That's the thing. So I guess it speaks in jingles.
Yeah.
But again, I just love this. The idea, this concept to me is so brilliant that we have this customer service. Is job one program into this mascot bot, and we turn this mascot bot into a combat bot, and I just think that's so insanely cool. That gives out free scratch and sniff stickers left and right. We have
I was not programmed to remove stickers.
Here's the line that kills me, because the promo had that line you just said, Tiki, but I love this crack me because it was a surprise when Baymax has all these stickers just kind of put on him. He's like a ninja with stickers. Instead of ninja stars, just he's placing stickers on Baymax, and Baymax just has this great pause, and then, thank you. It's lost it. Oh, it's so look. We can sit here all day and talk about the brilliance of Noodle Burger Boy and how like he turns into like the kidnapped victim, and then he's basically a Patty Hearst syndrome with Noodle Burger Boy.
I love the delivery of him. I love how, like you said, Dragon, the sing song quality. That's a great way to describe it.
And he's actually a credible threat too. That's the crazy.
I know, that's the great thing about him too. Which is we took this ridiculous. I mean, honestly, I think it's like this, Steve. So last episode, the divisive character. Did you go back and rewatch last episode yet, or no?
You know what? I haven't. It's just been a crazy week for me.
That's the thing. So I think last episode, they're kind of hitting the groove with the villains as well.
I believe you though. I believe you. I'm sure that last episode. Keep in mind, last episode I watched it in the corner of the break room at work on a really stressful day on my phone. So, not exactly the best viewing conditions.
Sure. And, that villain was kind of in like the so absurd, it's hilarious vein. And we kind of did that, but we made it more credible and more serious. But again, with that happy undercurrent throughout the whole thing. It was ridiculous and like not to be taken seriously with Mr. Sparkles, and now we have an even sillier idea almost with Noodle Burger Boy, but it's just like again he was a victim, and now he's been turned to the dark side of food service. but yeah. So speaking of which, let's talk about who turned to the dark side. Because let's talk about a character who was really well executed. I can't get enough.
He's coming into his own. He's definitely coming into his own. I had my doubts about him at first. I thought he was just like, oh, it's just kind of like shady bad guy. But no, yeah.
They're kind of playing him in two ways I really liked. I mean, again, my main comparison is he's kind of like, and again, it's kind of shooting for the moon here. But I'm just saying this is best case scenario. He's kind of like a Ra's al Ghul for the Big Hero 6 in a way to me. He's kind of the master manipulator, kind of the erudite master manipulator off to the side here, kind of as everything's going his way. Feels kind of Ra's al Ghul-esque. But I got to tell you, we're hearing more from him. And the more I hear from him, kind of recently I'd started watching the Sherlock series from BBC. And he kind of sounds like they're taking Moriarty, which is I thought was kind of interesting. Like, huh? It's just like this guy's. Sorry?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like this guy, he's not to be taken lightly because he's getting a lot accomplished. And like Ra's al Ghul, he knows all the secret identities. Like like right off the bat, Obake, he's just getting more and more interesting. And again, yet again from Obake, even with the whole Jax plan, and. Trying to think with the Jax, the painting, but more so the Jax. Obake has a really clever plan in place, and in this case, he's using the prediction algorithm that's built into the that is built in to
Noodle Burger Boy.
Yeah, to Noodle Burger Boy. I was just trying to. I wanted to say like call him like the boy, but then I realized that doesn't make any sense. I had to call him Noodle Burger Boy. And
he actually used it to discern the rest of the Big Hero 6's identities.
Yes. Well, no, he already had. Well, you're right. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. That's how we figure out the rest of them. But to be fair, though, I mean, we saw Hiro Hamada on screen. We presumed that all the rest of it was in Kray's system. And here's I'm going to make this leap. I'm going to make the leap that, just to connect things a little bit here, I make the leap that Obake he hacked into Kray's computers last 2 episodes ago. And when he did that, I think that's when we found out that Cray had built this previously it was used to be a military combat robot that had that prediction algorithm, and it made its way to the food service. I mean, I don't know if the algorithm was built in from the military thing to this, or the restaurant came up with the algorithm. But whoever, I'm saying, if Cray came up with it, that means like, oh my God, Obake's using all this valuable stuff he got from Cray, and he's using that to basically compile all this data on the weak. Now he knows the weaknesses of the Big Hero 6. That's the important thing. He already knew the identities. Now he has the weaknesses and the fighting styles all pre-programmed. And he had kind of a mini minion that he, again, the job one was taken care of. That okay, he got all the information he needed, and he knows all of them, and it probably has all of Fred's information thanks to the membership.
Oh yeah, he Fred's just an open book to him. Yeah.
And I just love that Obake he's such a positive thinker. He's always thinking about the bright side. He's a glass half full kind of guy. And he says, "Oh, you didn't fail. Did you compile the data? Then you didn't fail." I mean, I'm loving this guy. It's great.
It seems like he's almost the antithesis of Hero in a way.
Yeah, I mean, Hero a lot of the time he's kind of, don't get me wrong, he's always looking, he's a problem solver, and I think Obake has that too, but Obake kind of knows the solution already where Hero has to figure it out, so he's kind of like a potential of, if Hero, basically what Hero could be if he kind of sticks with the nerd school and everything. Let's see. Yeah, let's talk about Hero and Wasabi for a bit if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my whole thing on it is it's a good arc. It's just it's something I've seen a million times in cartoons, and like I said, Wasabi does. I don't know. I think they cranked Wasabi up to 11, and not in a very flattering way, but at the same time, the end of the episode redeemed it. So overall, I feel like it kind of evened itself out, and it is good to see Wasabi get a little bit more screen time.
I mean, yeah, and here's the thing. I kind of had an epiphany with Wasabi during this. I kind of, while they were doing, you're absolutely right. I did pick up on the Odd Couple vibe, but by the same token, I kind of realized on a rewatch that what, Wasabi's kind of Monk-esque. Kind of like Adrian Monk, the Tony Shalhoub detective.
Well, he's definitely got the OCD thing.
And that's the thing, too. Like, basically, here's the Monk-esque touches with Wasabi here. Basically, where he won't enter a room, and Hero has to, have, the little drone to kind of bring him the tablet and everything from the sign-off on it. So that's such a Monk-esque move. And again, I like that we kind of, I mean, the worst thing I could say is that maybe we delay it a smidge, but by the same token, basically we reach a point where Go-Go kind of sets him straight. Like, I love that Go-Go's kind of the moral reason here, but she's like the aggressive moral reason, saying, "You two are good friends, you're gonna work this out." Which is great, and that's giving Go-Go something excellent to do. And I love that we kind of called Go-Go and Honey Lemon out. I'm like, you're just gonna throw some balls while she spins around me real fast, aren't you? Anyway, so after that, then they kind of realize, okay, we're gonna work together apart. And then they get into this argument, but I love this argument, though, because this is where Wasabi's really shining as a character. Wasabi's not wrong with what he's throwing in Hero's face here, that you're always just flying by the seat of your pants. And again, Kari Payton, I think, does a really good performance of Wasabi in this episode here, where it's just kind of, he's laying it out without getting too aggressive, but he's making a firm point. And again, no one's unlikable in this situation, but they're obviously they're just coming from two different schools of thought. So again, by the same token, it feels like
an immovable force meets an... What does that go like? I'm trying to think of it.
Movable force versus the unstoppable force meets the immovable object.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
Anyway,
yeah, that's
in a way, yeah, and it's let me see, what was I saying? Oh yes, and basically, I think we just kind of on one level, it feels like we stretch it out, so we have like a third act. Okay, the big costume switcheroo solution, which is fine. I like that. It just it just feels like, okay, we have to stretch out them like kind of bickering, but again, it's a really good argument though. So by the same token, it's all relative. It all works out.
And it actually concludes it without feeling too rushed like it did with the Jacks.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it feels Jacob. I think you hit it right on the head there. That's the difference. That's the thing where we see these two guys. Like honestly, this costume switcheroo solution. One, it looks really good. Two, we have like some really good. We have a lot of really great action beats, like in the rescue from the top, or Honey Lemon use like the ice bridge to kind of slide people away from the danger. Wasabi cuts this giant thing in half with his plasma blades, and a hero echoes that move in the third act, like Wasabi did in the beginning, using like the magnet hands and everything. Again, it was a really well orchestrated sequence. I felt you got your money's worth, and it kind of was also again kind of reflective of the opening, kind of action beat in the opening, action beat by the end. We say Baymax, and Baymax didn't even need to suit up in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, I love the environment of the junkyard. I love how abstract the visuals were in that scene.
I tell you one thing. Again, I had a reservation, but I think the rewatch kind of solved it for me. I felt that the junkyard was a little convenient. That okay, so Noodle Burger Boy's looking for an upgrade, and why is he not going to Cray? Well, okay, if you're on the run, you don't want to run into all that security. Maybe he doesn't even know he's built by Cray, so he's going to go to a junkyard.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, we had some really good on point humor. Like we had some great evil banter from Noodle Burger Boy. Like once it became
That's what
evil.
I'm saying. Like the thing with Noodle Burger Boy is that there's so much good dialogue with him that I feel like we could just sit here all day and like recite it. Like, and on page 23 of the script, Noodle Burger Boy says this, and
with
it's
the
hilarious.
And not just with Noodle Burger Boy, but even with all the other characters like Fred. I thought Fred's humor has kind of been better than it's been in a while. Honestly, I think it was like top tier kind of Fred gags here, where like Fred has this great, has this
You guys know I've
hilarious.
been kind of critical of Fred a little bit. Like, not so much like, oh, Fred's ruining the show, but more so like, all right, guys, this guy's like maybe a little bit too goofy. But Dragon, I think this episode, as you said, it struck the right balance. Fred was goofy in the best of ways.
Like the gag that really sold it for me was they find the shoe impression for when Noodle Burger Boy kicked Fred. And I love how hurt Fred is by all this. But I love one of the drama of Fred. This whole thing is hilarious. The absurd drama of he became attached.
Oh my
to
god,
Burger.
him in the probably the funniest scene of the whole episode is him and the
Sarah. I think it's Sarah.
Yeah, and Sarah. Like, just I love how attached Sarah is to Noodle Burger Boy. Like, she's just like, it's just a heartbreaking tragedy that he's gone.
What's funny about that is that even Fred found that a bit excessive.
But initially, he was all into it too. Of like, I'm gonna bring our Noodle Burger Boy back. Essentially,
I love the bizarro running gag of Fred being like running into people who can't stop hugging him.
because there's like, I got a clinger here, got a clinger. But I mean, the gag that cracked me up so much is when basically they have like the big like, okay, he's tied in the Cray here, which says, look, the shoe print with the Cray logo on it, and the friends.
It's gonna mean one thing: Cray makes shoes.
That it's still so funny. I think it's honestly, I think it might be the best Fred joke we've got in the whole thing. I don't know. I really like that one. That was he just said, or he's been built by Cray. Sure that. So, oh my god! Again, there's so much really. There's a lot of great stuff in this episode. I mean, it doesn't miss anything honestly for me. I thought it was all great. You guys got anything else?
No, I think we're good.
We could talk about other great stuff, but I mean, we're just going to talk in circles.
Another great Fred joke was when he acknowledged Go-Go's catchphrase.
Yeah, I like the.
It's like I was like, I know it's like, okay, she's saying do this a lot. It's like, okay, Go-Go, you're saying that a lot. It's not very creative.
Whatever the villain is throwing at them, like whatever their gimmick is, then okay, insert cliche this. And he's right. That's what she is doing a lot of the time. So it's of course like Cray. I like how Cray is kind of Mr. Exposition for the technologists. You can go now. It's just I like how we worked Cray in as kind of this nice little niche into the big world.
I mean, again, he's not explicitly wrong in what he's talking about.
True, and again, it's kind of you see Cray. If Cray had a little more foresight, he'd be a very he could be Tony Stark, but now he's just the incompetent Lex Luthor. I don't mean incompetent like a Jesse Eisenberg way. I just mean incompetent that he's like over the top. He has the means, but he's the nephew who took over the company. He's just not piecing it together right. Yeah. So I guess final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is probably the longest podcast, maybe outside of, Baymax Returns. I don't remember how long that went, the pilot episode, but so I feel like we've kind of talked in circles, and I've kind of said my piece. I really love this episode. I think I do think it's kind of elevated above the Aunt Cass episode in a way, because it really does kind of fire on all cylinders. It very much represents exactly, as Jacob said in the beginning, exactly what the show kind of promised us.
Again, I wouldn't go as far as to say it beats Food Fight, but that might be a favoritism thing. I mean, again, like objectively, I think it's all
face it, Dragon. Ever since the whole Aunt Cass bit in the pilot episode, you've just been you can't. That's it. That's the sticking point for you. Aunt Cass is your favorite. After
okay,
that.
Don't put your hang-ups onto me, all right? Because I know that's the Aunt Cass thing. I like the Aunt Cass thing, but you're the one who goes, God.
No, you were thrilled when I brought up the Aunt Cass thing, okay?
I love it too, okay? But I'm not hung up on it, all right? You're the one who keeps bringing it up.
All right.
I like my point is, look, I won't make any bones about it. I do love the Aunt Cass character, and that's what I'm saying. I think I'll say this much. I think objectively, I think it's on par with Food Fight, but if I'm ranking them, I would put it right under Food Fight. But again, they're both like top tier. Like again, based on getting more episodes like those two, I think this series will be on a great upswing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think the episodes hits groove with this. I'm hoping that kind of like the last one I really liked, and this one just was really darn near perfect. And let's just I think keep this momentum going. I think they're going to be in really good shape. And again, with the whole Obaki plot, I mean, I could imagine it getting even better. So,
all right, final thoughts, Jacob.
I can't. Well, if I said my final thought, I'd be much repeating what you guys said.
Right, I feel that.
but yeah, I'd probably call this probably in hindsight, probably like I said, the best episode we've gotten out of the series so far. And like, if we have more episodes like this will be a heck of a ride to watch for sure.
All right. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We will be back next Monday, as always, for another episode of Big Hero 6. And join us on Saturday. Jacob and I are covering the next episode of DuckTales. That's ramping up as well.
What are the next episodes of Big Hero 6?
God. You're going to make me Google that.
Sorry.
I don't have to hold up.
You don't have to.
All right. Okay. And I forgot if we have a last catchphrase on this, because I know the DuckTales catchphrase is woohoo. What's the catchphrase on this one?
Well, we had Baymax's catchphrase, remember?
La la la.
Oh, yeah, duh. You're right. All right. Thanks for joining us, folks. And until next time.
Bye. He is getting away.